Good evening. You're flying with Pod Squadron podcast. All wings report in. This is Pod Job standing by.
This is Pod Tracer standing by.
We are a duo for now. Hopefully the others will join us in a little bit. All ships to attack formation. Mission objectives to talk about Star Wars in movies, streaming, animation, books, themed experiences, and your art and inspiration from a galaxy far, far away. Today's flight plan includes Obi-Wan, the new Obi-Wan series on Disney+. We'll be talking about episodes 1 through 3, and also talking about some of the news that came out at Star Wars Celebration, kind of recapping all the news and our experiences, well, my experiences anyways, there in Anaheim Convention Center. And for all of you out there, comm channels are open. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Find us on YouTube, like and subscribe, hit the bell icon so you know when all the new content comes out. But first, I will be your squad leader for today. I am Andy Lowe, aka the Chinese Pirate, director, storyteller, puppeteer, performer, and fight choreographer. On my wing, as always, is Tracy.
Hi, I'm Tracy, also known as Hot Nerd Girl, just nerdy chick and suburbstead farmer and brand new chicken mama. I guess that actually technically this time I'm a chick grandma because Sprinkles is raising the baby chicks for me.
Ooh.
So yeah. Ooh, hi Lexi.
And our other wing is Lexi. Lexi's audio's connecting still. On my other wing is Lexi. Take it away. Okay.
Nope, we can't hear you. She's a beautiful
so
aerial
Lexi,
performer. Death
yes,
doula in training.
Goes by the Feral Geek. You can find her on social medias. Hopefully we'll be joined by Jason later on, who is from at Beyond Forever Studios, filmmaker and toy collector, and was a geek of all kinds. But we are just one squad in the fleet. We're part of the Geekish Network. That's right here on YouTube and on Facebook. You can find us streaming right here, in theory, every Monday at 6:30. So come back and join us as we dig into the Obi-Wan series and all the other things coming up. But S-Foils to attack position. We're going in. Hey, everyone. So Lexi still seems to be having some mic issues. So she's still connecting. But as she is connecting, so there's a little thing that happened recently. Little, just tiny little,
what?
little. I mean, it's a gathering, shall we say? That might, of course, I am talking about Star Wars Celebration that was here in Anaheim, in Southern California, just not last weekend, 2 weekends ago. Because this last weekend was NAMM. I was actually very briefly at the NAMM trade show. That was it's kind of interesting to be at the Anaheim Convention Center 1 week, to have all the Star Wars there, and all of these Star Wars nerds and their cosplays and their collections and all that. And then of course this week you have the NAMM show there, and you have all these music nerds.
What is NAMM?
So NAMM is the what is it? So, National. I don't know what the acronym stands for. It's NA Making Music, but it's kind of the national trade show for music makers. So you have, it's just like Comic-Con but for music nerds, because you literally have like vendors that are selling every kind of guitar imaginable, every kind of band instrument imaginable, every cymbal or drum. Then you have like all the peripheral stuff where it's like theatrical lighting or sound mixing or DJ equipment. And you also have those same kind of personalities, right? Where like at a Comic-Con, you have someone who's like dressed up like their favorite superhero, but at NAMM, you have someone who's like dressed up in their favorite band tee, or.
So wait, how comic book conventions used to be, when you just used to wear like a nerdy T-shirt, not a costume.
I mean, there's some of them are pretty custom because there are a lot of artists and musicians there too. So
are there a lot of like David Lee Roth impersonators and things like that?
I mean, there are definitely hair metal people who come in their hair metal gear, all excited to wear their their new crocodile boots, or
So people like wearing full show attire.
We can hear you. It is, and it's like there's a lot of musicians who are also trying to pitch themselves or meet people in this industry and kind of make headway too. So it's like there are people
National
that are
Association of Music Merchants.
There it is, music merchant. I thought it was making music.
Okay.
Because there's also it's the same organization that has the Museum of Making Music, in actually in your neck of the woods, Tracy, very close to Legoland. But
oh, really? Had no idea.
Yeah.
But I know nothing about music except, this song is great. I like it.
But I've stalled long enough. We should get into Celebration.
Can I just say, I do not regret going to my niece's bat mitzvah instead of Celebration, but I do wish that it had been on different weekends.
So, I mean, did you guys manage to catch any of the live stream? Because that was kind of the cool thing, was that...
I was at a bat mitzvah. No.
Okay, fair enough.
I was working. I was at weddings. No.
Because I will say, I was only there at the convention on Friday and Saturday. On the other days, on Thursday and on Sunday, I mean, I was able to just kind of run the live stream through my phone and just kind of listen to stuff. Actually, you know what? I was doing that while I was at the convention as well. like if I was in line for a panel or something like that. So that was kind of handy actually to keep myself engaged, even if I was just kind of boringly waiting to get into something.
What was the highlight? What was the best part of the whole show for you?
Gosh, I would say, okay, for me, probably I'm the kind of person who I don't often really get starstruck. But I'm a big story nerd, right? I mean, I'm a director and storyteller, so like people talking about story gets me excited. So probably sitting in on the Tales of the Jedi panel and just listening to Dave Filoni talk about story or what what I mean it's so funny because you can totally hear this is George's protege because he gets very philosophical about things, and it's great fun. And of course he's totally like fully aware about how obsessive he is, so it's like
he's basically a Star Wars encyclopedia.
I mean he is, but he also, like, I mean, he's very quick to poke fun of it at himself, and
Star
yet
Wars
even
version
as
of
he
Colbert with Tolkien.
yeah, I mean, and when he pokes fun at himself, he's also, it's like there's like little nuggets of like, deep philosophy and, kind of why the story is important, which I love. So that was my biggest highlight. A couple things, I got to do. I mean, of course, there's the show floor. If you're curious, I would say the dealer floor is actually pretty small. Like if you're used to like Comic-Con San Diego or even like Comic-Con Los Angeles or some of these other cons, their dealer floor, they
Their
limit
what
it.
floor?
Their dealer floor, the show floor.
Oh, dealer. Oh, I was like diva floor. What's a
Yeah.
diva floor?
The diva floor. When uh, it's like they limit it to vendors, uh, specifically who have official licenses. So it's all officially licensed. And so that said, you won't get as many like I don't know what like
Fan art.
yeah, like fan art or like just individual artists doing sketches or like some of the limited run t-shirt type things. You won't get as much as that. So so depending on how you look at that, it's like that means there's less stuff, but everything is officially licensed. They also have a whole other level just for the official Star Wars Celebration store, which has a bunch of very cool stuff. Whole sections for all the books. They had book signings. Claudia Gray was there. Got to see her really quickly. But the real kind of meat and potatoes, I say, of this con is number one, all of the cosplay, because of course it's an opportunity.
Yeah, what was the best cosplay you saw?
I mean,
there's always some really beautiful Amidala's.
There was a lot of, in fact, I think there was a friend of mine was telling me they went to a panel that was just all about creating Amidala Padme cosplays. And people were kind of trading trade secrets or talking about kind of the detail on this. Some of it went over
that I used on this detail. I love that.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not joking. My mom's a seamstress to a certain degree. Like, she quilts, so she's like very precise with her stuff, and that'd be really cool to sit in on, even though I have inspiration.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the interesting thing of when you're just focused on Star Wars, you can get into very specific panels. Like I went to 2 panels that were specifically about Star Wars and Imagineering, of course. Right, one that was just kind of representation of Star Wars and as it has manifested through various Disney parks. Nothing super new to announce. Mostly talked about projects that they have done or released the last however many 10 years. And then they had another special panel which was a lot of fun, that was a celebrating the 35th anniversary of Star Tours, and so that was kind of cool. Once again, getting to see Tony Baxter, one of my favorite Imagineers, talking about the process, and still new nuggets of information that I had not known before. But
There were some pretty amazing droid builds too. I think you were the one posting videos of all the different
I was
droid
loving those
crossings.
updates. It was so good.
yeah, that was me on the Pod Squadron Instagram, posting all of the various droid crossing moments.
They
So
were
this
all
is
the
actually-
droids we were looking for.
They were indeed.
once.
So they actually had a droid racing arena, and unfortunately, I didn't watch any of this because I found
They're
out
all
about
like-
it too late. But they had like a whole track where people could race their full R2 builds. They had a demolition derby of the mouse droids, which so they had like light sensor.
I want to
cannons
see
and
that,
everything.
but with Gronks.
Oh God, on Gonk droids.
Except it's
Just
just like that. It's like one of those bubble soccer matches,
Yeah.
you know, and it's actual people entering and they go in teams.
Oh, speaking
Gonk
of which,
droid battle.
going back to your previous question, favorite cosplay. Someone did a Hulkbuster R2D2, which I think I also posted some photos.
Oh
of.
yeah,
And that was pretty.
missed
that was
one,
rad.
Yeah, because he
I
was
missed
on
that one.
stilts and stuff, and it was a thing too where he had a whole R2D2 body that was basically sitting
Tiny head.
on his head, so that when he would move his head, it was like R2D2 was like wiggling around in the. Let's see here. Other kind of cool things. I mean, there were a lot of reveals, and we'll get into some of those things. You know, the meat and potatoes of this con are all of the panels and all of the kind of the studio rollouts.
Any big surprises or anything? Anything that was like, oh my God, I can't wait to share this on Pod Squadron?
You know, I mean, it was okay. They didn't. The only thing that I think they talked about that I knew nothing about, that I hadn't heard a single word about, was the Tales of the Jedi animated series, and everything else was like more details about stuff we knew was coming, which is still very exciting because no one's
Like
seen any
Andor.
footage about Andor yet, or yeah, I mean, let's
What
just
is
kind of run
Tales of
down
the
that
Jedi?
list, right? So of course we finally got a trailer for Andor, which, did you guys check that out on the YouTubes?
I believe it or not, I
I was
haven't
today years
seen it
old when I
yet.
found out that was out, but I'm gonna be rushing over once this is done. So
Yeah, the
I also
trailer.
don't care about
My
spoilers
boyfriend
on
watched it
my-
like 8 times, but I haven't watched it yet.
The
I
the
don't
trailer's
care
pretty
about spoilers,
intense. Say again, Lexi.
I said I don't care about spoilers, so
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't really give much away, but I mean, it definitely kind of gives you a sense of what we can expect from the series. They do this whole kind of, they kind of set the tone of kind of people working in secret, and as kind of the rebellion kind of being birthed in kind of hearts and minds of people.
did they reveal any like familiar main players or?
You have quick shots of Mon Mothma. I mean, no one knew that we know about, right? Like they haven't really announced any like new characters. We just know that a lot of speculation and a lot of grounds for more speculation.
Is there going to be a Yoda series?
Not that I know of. I mean,
Kevin
at this
said
point,
that.
at this point, it's well, okay, we'll so we have the Andor trailer. We also had footage that was exclusive for The Mandalorian season 3, which a lot of people were losing their minds about. I did not get to see any of that, but that was the big thing, was seeing a lot of Mandalorians, and a lot of action with Bo-Katan, that people were kind of
Like
getting.
maybe the war is starting?
I mean, what I heard was that it was a lot of footage of what looked like the wreckage of, or the ruins of Mandalore, and there's also potentially a shot of Bo-Katan on
Wielding the Darksaber?
no, on a throne of some sort, that maybe she's on Concord Dawn, or who knows, wherever she is. and of course setting up this kind of tension between the sect that Din Djarin and the Armorer are involved in versus her group. There is talk that the Armorer is going to be a major player throughout the season, but they also talked about let's see here, did see Carl Weathers is back as Grief Karga.
All right.
We can expect to see Paul Sun Hyung Lee as Carson Teva. Amy Sedaris is coming back as Pelimoto. A lot of but it sounds like they're really kind of setting things up for the Mandalorian either conflict or who knows? I mean, either it's about unifying the Mandalorians that we know, or it's about setting up the factions, but we shall see.
All right, so I did look into the Yoda series, and that's going to be a 10-issue Marvel.
Oh, that's the comic series. Yeah.
That's going to be the Yoda focus, is apparently a 10-issue Marvel series.
Yeah, I did not make it into the High Republic panel, but there were a number of reveals and kind of a lot of talk in terms of the whole Phase 2 movement, because they are kind of going even further back in time after the big cliffhanger that they left for Phase 1.
Yeah,
they're going 150 years.
It says the Marvel Yoda is actually supposed to be divided into 3 arcs by 3 separate creative teams, and supposed to span like most of his centuries, like for his whole life. And it's Kevin Scott's going to be on the team. So
yep.
Yeah.
Another thing that people were losing their minds about on was that Thursday that was Thursday. They also had they released new footage for the Willow Disney Plus series with Warwick Davis. So that trailer is out and it looks pretty great. It looks very cool. It's like Warwick Davis and recruiting a whole group of young guns. That was great. The other thing is, so this was from the big Disney Plus panel. They kind of finished it off, talking about Obi-Wan and how John Williams composed the Obi-Wan theme, and then they had John Williams there with full orchestra to perform. And this is like a day or two after his birthday, so he was there to perform. That for the first chance for people to hear the Obi-Wan theme. And then, of course, right after that, he jumped right into the Indiana Jones theme, and they brought Harrison Ford out. And that was a complete surprise.
I mean, I have mixed feelings about Harrison Ford, but that's
a surprise
cool.
Because he traditionally doesn't usually give a shit about anything. So,
well, he does give a shit about Indiana Jones, though, right?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, Indiana Jones, he would.
So he was very excited to be there, talking about both the wish John Williams a happy birthday, and they also revealed a single image for Indiana Jones 5. So that was very exciting. Let's see here. Then there was a panel they did do a quick reveal of Ahsoka series, and that was kind of really surprising because literally they had only been on set for about 2 or 3 weeks. So the fact that they had like footage, and granted it wasn't finished footage, but from what I hear, it looked, because they're shooting in the in the stagecraft LED screen things look pretty darn finished. So apparently there were shots that showed both the actresses, or Rosario Dawson and the actress who's playing Sabine. But there was also a shot from behind that revealed Harrison Dula. And then they brought on Chopper on stage. They had a live Chopper, like their screen Chopper, which was very. I did see footage of that from the panel. And it's funny because he looks like Chopper, but he's more metallic and kind of more detailed. but his head still bobs from side to side. um, let's see here.
What is Tales of the Jedi about? I'm curious about that one.
I'll get into that first. There's
Sorry.
one more
I'm
thing
getting ahead.
in the live action stuff. They also, this was something that no one knew about. That a new show, live action show for Disney Plus called Star Wars Skeleton Crew, that apparently stars Jude Law. And this is a show that is, I think, created by John Watts, who worked on the Spider-Man films, and is supposed to be kind of what they're kind of calling like Goonies in the Star Wars universe. So they're focused on like a bunch of like young kids who go on an adventure somehow, and somehow Jude Law is involved. But that's all we know. Either the villain or maybe he's, well, I mean, he could be like their Dumbledore. Who knows?
I was gonna say he could be leaning hard into that Dumbledore vibe, which again is debatable as to how good of a guy he is. Here, preteens,
shades of gray. We're all shades of gray.
Indeed. There is no darkness. There is no light. Okay, so now we can get to some of the animation stuff. Just literally, this is 4 days of Star Wars announcements. So there was a lot. What time is it right now? I'm just checking our time.
It's 2 to 7, 2 to 1900.
So apparently they did also announce that Visions, another season of Star Wars Visions, is coming spring 2023. They're going back to a lot of the same studios. Some of them are going to come up with completely new things, and some of them are going to continue some of the story arcs that were very, very popular from the first round. They did also announce Bad Batch Season 2. There is a trailer out there. Omega finally has a helmet.
Omega?
Let's see here. What else? And then Tales of the Jedi. So this was a bit of a surprise. So this is a short, like 6-episode animated series, and it's kind of like it's basically Dave Filoni getting to still resolve little bits of story that he didn't quite get around to in Clone Wars. There's some strong, Clone Wars energy coming off of this. But the idea is to do 3 episodes a piece, kind of focusing on the long arc of Ahsoka and Dooku. And this is so
is it the same animation style as Clone Wars, Rebels, Bad Batch?
I would say it is the same animation style as the Bad Batch, and that is to say that one of the things that Dave Filoni said was that, watching the Bad Batch and watching all of the level of detail as, the technology that has gotten better that they are getting to work with. And, he is somewhat forlorn now that he is focused so much on live action projects that he doesn't get to play with all of those toys. So this was like, okay, here's like just 6 short episodes where I can kind of dip my toe in the water and get to play with, all the greater levels of detail and control of light and atmosphere that they have in the animation system now that they did not when he was doing Clone Wars. And I did get to see, they did play for us the first episode, which I gotta say is like it's basically the birth of Ahsoka. And so you get little baby Ahsoka, which, had like the whole stadium audience kind of cooing at baby Ahsoka. But we get to see the village where she grew up, and how the village discovered she had force powers. They did tease that we're kind of gonna see some of the time of Dooku as he's being trained by Yoda, as he is there with a young Qui-Gon Jinn, who they are bringing Liam Neeson back to voice Qui-Gon again.
Yeah, how
Um,
young is he supposed to be? Is that going to be a Freddie Prinze Jr. doing young Kanan and being
eh,
like, "I'm a
I
preteen"?
mean, I can't imagine it being. I mean, it's Liam Neeson. He kind of does one thing very well. Ready
Please make
now.
him pre-puberty. Be like, "All
I'm
right,
14.
I'm 14."
Everything is new to me. Yes, this is what I sound like after puberty.
My voice cracks.
um, let's see here. The other really exciting thing, I happened to be walking by the Star Wars stage where the old Star Wars show people were when they revealed the new trailer for Star Wars Jedi Survivor, which is the sequel game to Jedi Fallen Order.
Yes.
And very exciting, a bunch of new stuff which I don't know anything about because I haven't played the first game yet, and it is very intriguing, so I do need to do some catching up there.
Yeah, I gotta look that up.
What was the best photo op? Real quick, before we move on, what was the best photo op? They always have really good photo ops.
They did have a bunch of photo ops. I mean, I didn't do a lot of photo ops. They had one. They had a whole X-wing cockpit set up where you could jump in the cockpit. There was a great one for Lego, where they had Lego builds that were a giant like life-size Lego Darth Vader in Bermuda shorts playing volleyball against you. So you
Oh,
could like jump up to like you're spiking a giant Lego volleyball at a Lego Darth Vader for
that's
some
kind of
reason.
cool. I saw
Yeah.
pictures of like portraits, like giant portraits or something.
There was also they also had a whole setup, and this was like a whole. I mean, I literally sat in line for about an hour and a half to get into this, but they had a whole display of a lot of the props and costumes from the Mandalorian, and that was really kind of fascinating. I mean, they actually had a full size N1 Naboo starfighter, you know, just sitting in the middle of the hall at 1-to-1 scale. That was kind of crazy. Um, there was also their screen ready bantha that was automated and audio animatronic. You could see its tongue.
Could you write it?
You could not ride it, unfortunately, but you could take photos near it. They had a bunch of the speeder bikes from the Swoop Bike Gang, as well as Cobb Vanth's big pod racer engine bike. Let's see here. What else? There were a few animatronic Baby Yodas. They had a Baby Yoda in the Pop-O-Matic bubble of the N1 Starfighter that would like pop its head up and like wave at you.
No.
But they also once they had brought out the entire cast of the Mandalorian, because they do at the panel one by one, they actually brought out a Baby Yoda animatronic puppet and just popped him on the table, and the little Baby Yoda's just there looking at the crowd, like waving at everyone. It was pretty crazy. And it was also
Aw.
wacky to see if you look up this video, the Baby Yoda like looks around, he blinks and he like waves at the crowd, and then he gets tired and he kind of plops and sits himself down. And it's like, I didn't know you could do that. How did they? Very, very impressive puppetry.
That would be really, really fun puppetry.
Well,
it's
it's 7:06, you guys.
Yeah, we should probably move on. But everything that I talked about, you can find online on YouTube. Do some searches. Many of the panels, like I said, were posted both on the official Star Wars page, as were a lot of the trailers. Not any of the footage, unfortunately, but the trailers are definitely up there. So check all of that stuff out. But for now, shall we get into what are we getting into?
Obi-Wan.
Indeed.
That.
All right. So So they did this crazy thing where in the middle of the convention they said, "Hey, we're releasing the first 2 episodes." And for the people who were in the panel, they actually got to watch it like live, with Ewan McGregor and Deborah Chow in the room. And they released the first 2 episodes, and we had episode 3 come out last week. We have episode 4 coming out tomorrow. We're halfway through the series already. So what are your guys' impressions? How are you guys digging it?
So the thing that I noticed right away was, I'm presuming, Deborah Chow's choice to keep a lot of the, aesthetic and acting and like the way it works from beat to beat, the same feel as the prequels. She made it really like kind of synchronous to the prequels.
How so?
I felt like the dialogue style was a little bit closer to the prequels than anything else. I felt like it had like a similar, Star Wars always has a little bit of camp to it, right? And I feel like it had a similar brand to the prequels, and right down to like, and I may just have been imagining this, but I feel like right down to whoever did like the color, or you know what I'm talking about, like the color balance. Yeah, like because like whenever you shoot, you have to like even out like the color balancing, like right, and like you could change the whole aesthetic of a film by doing that. And I feel like whoever was doing I know I'm not using the term right, but like whoever was balancing the color on that, like the editor, was, I would be surprised if they weren't told to like, hey, kind of like look at the prequels, which I thought served them really well because it made it seem like it really made it seem like an extension of the same story. Sure. Whereas I feel like a lot of the, even Mandalorian, while it draws from some of the same, like a lot of the same inspirations that Lucas did, where it's like, oh, we're going to draw from Westerns and samurai films. So they did that, but they did that in their own way. I feel like there was a little bit more riffing off of the prequel style.
Sure.
I would agree with that. The stuff on Tatooine had kind of a New Hope feel. The stuff with Leia had kind of a prequels feel. And then when they were on the kind of Hong Kong inspired set where they finally came together, it was a totally different new feel. We're doing and rests in that. I understand what you're talking about.
Yeah, so I thought there was that. I personally love the casting of little Leia.
Oh,
am I the only one?
I think I froze. Sorry. I think I froze. Sorry.
I think we might be back. Question mark?
Yeah. Talk.
Yeah. The little Leia, that's the girl from Bird Box.
Yes. Yeah, with Sandra Bullock. Anyway, yeah. Yeah, I really liked her. I thought they did a great job kind of having her show a lot of Padme and Anakin both. But then I also thought they did a really subtle job of showing like her adopted parents' influence. And I'll have to say, as like an adopted child, a lot of that was really close to home. And I appreciated it in particular. So
yeah, I thought the relationship work that they have with her and her, well, of course we have her and Bale, but also with her, the mother character as well. Just kind of this dynamic of, there's a certain aspect of Leia that is completely uncontrollable, but it's still tempered by kind of, her parents' kind of sense of reason and responsibility.
Breha Organa. That's her mother's name. And it's really interesting because I feel like that one line that she has where she's like, I don't do anything but wave, and she goes, then do more. You get into it you get out of it what you put into it. And I thought that like very much foreshadows the way that Leia leads the rebellion.
Well, and
And that,
it's also kind of, you can also see the strain on both of the Organas as, they are, meeting their cousins and kind of, like bristling against, some of the other
The
1% of the
entitlement.
universe, who are benefiting from the Empire's growth,
hmm
um, versus, we know Bale is founding the rebellion with Mon Mothma on the down low
yeah.
at the same time.
I think the people that I've seen complaining about the inclusion of like young Leia's plotline are forgetting about the importance of that parallel that you just brought up with like this is around the time when Bale is setting up like the foundations of the rebellion and
Right.
how that plays into Obi-Wan's later plotline. So I mean it really does just serve to bring things full circle.
Oh my gosh, like we never got to see Obi-Wan and Leia on screen together, and yet she obviously knows him very well when she's sending this message through
You're my
R2D2.
only hope.
So to get to see, yeah, to see that relationship beginning and blooming into what it just makes A New Hope makes so much more sense. And we've always been so focused on Luke. And Leia's just been kind of like, thrown in, for a lot of it, especially the original trilogy, that I kind of love that we're focusing on Leia instead of on Luke. And even
I
Obi-Wan
also
was like, yeah, but she's the girl. I'm supposed to be taking care of the boy, and it's like,
Your dad's like, she's just as important, Obi-Wan.
well, I
Whose
also kind
daughter
of
is she? Oh wait, same damn people.
well, I also really kind of love how they are teasing these ways in which, like, we already seen how, Anakin was a young boy and had like intuitive reflexes or precognition that allowed him to fly a pod racer, right?
Mhm.
And we're seeing this little hints that Leia is like very empathic,
Mhm.
um, which is
The way she destroys her cousin.
the way she destroys her cousin, the way she's able to just completely read Obi-Wan,
Mhm.
um, and intuit like his emotional state, or which is, I think, really cool. And just these other ways that, the Force is not being overt, but it's present, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think I would even hazard right down to her like being such an avid tree climber. Not like necessarily her love of climbing trees, but the fact that she's so damn good at it.
Yeah.
can we
Well, I
talk
mean,
about
but also,
how
of course, paralleling how Luke is like also getting away from
Also,
his family and like looking at space battles in this, in
yeah,
episode four,
looking at ships.
right?
I noted that. I was like, she and her brother from a young age, both obsessed with ships.
Yeah,
Nice little
Oh, his
detail that they have.
toy that was his toy that he was playing with at the beginning
Mhm.
of New
the
Hope.
T-16
Oh,
Starhopper. Yeah.
yes. Can we just talk
Yeah.
about how Obi-Wan's been in hiding for 10 years and nobody's supposedly been able to find him? And this Jedi finds him and he's like, can we just talk about how Ben Kenobi is like the absolute worst fake name in the history of fake names?
I know.
Anybody would be able to figure out that Obi-Wan Kenobi
It-
is Ben
I
Kenobi.
mean, to be fair, we haven't heard him say Kenobi. He's only said, "My name is Ben."
But in A New Hope, he says, I'm old Ben Kenobi.
Yeah, true.
yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
So
who
obviously he's
knows?
given that name
Maybe
to
Kenobi is like,
somebody.
Kenobi is like Jones in this universe. Who knows?
Well, I mean, again, not that they're really closely following the Legends book at all, except he does favor the blaster in the book, so that's kind of a fun
Mhm.
little similarity because he's like very strict about like, nope, not going to show anything. Nope, not going to show anything. So
I also really like how, I mean, I love how he's playing this. I mean, you
mhm.
can uh
With his
uh
beard pulling.
well, his beard, well, the
Yeah.
beard pulling, but also how broken down he is, right? I mean, you can kind of see how heavily he carries the weight of everything, in every shot, when if you watch like how Deborah Chow is kind of framing him, in both the first, actually in all three episodes, is like, whereas other characters are getting more, 3/4 shots, a lot of Obi-Wan's shots are all close up, so that you can kind of see he's so internalized,
Mm.
and you get all that great eye acting of just the creases around his eyes, where you can just see how kind of tormented and guilt ridden, and really just kind of weighed down by his failure, right? Really, right? I mean,
Let's not forget that there's a third generation McGregor
oh, that's
in Star
right.
Wars now. The girl who's selling him spice. And she was like,
Yeah.
I was somebody's daughter once too. And she's talking to her dad.
Her dad, yeah.
Yeah, that was cute. Okay,
Then they
so
never get out.
that actually also, I mean, I'm really also kind of surprised on how kind of how dark they have let this show go, right? I mean, it's like they don't
Oh, like
outright say,
killing a boy's neck or like saying
well,
breaking a boy's neck.
I was getting to that, but I mean, even before you get to that, I mean, the fact that, his daughter is basically playing someone who was human trafficked, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's
By Flea.
intense. By Flea.
I watched the first 2 episodes on the plane to New York,
Mm.
and my boyfriend was sitting next to me, and he's terrified of
Flea,
flying.
yeah.
And his like he was like he was like smacking me. He was like, "It's Flea, it's Flea."
Yeah, it took me a second because the last time I saw Flea in person, I was on acid. So,
I was at my job.
Oh yeah, Rodney made a good point. That was another thing. Yeah, that set was the clone trooper veteran who was
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
who was
Tamura Morrison making a little cameo as a clone.
yeah.
clone trooper
I
vet.
liked the facial hair and beard they gave him.
Mhm. And again, you have all that pathos of that shock of of course, Obi-Wan looking down and seeing this familiar face and seeing what's
Mhm.
become of, I mean, obviously probably not one of his direct fighting, but it's like it's still a familiar face to him. It's like,
Absolutely. It's not obviously not lost on him that it could very well have been one of his men.
yeah.
Could just as well have been one of his men. Yeah, I thought they did really well with that.
Before we get into other details, I just want to also call out, I love how every episode thus far has been basically another planet, right?
Mm.
Like episode 1 is basically Tatooine and Alderaan. Actually, getting to see more of Alderaan is really cool too, right?
Yeah.
And all
Yeah,
of
we don't get
it's
to see much of Alderaan.
yeah.
Episode 2 is Dayu.
Yeah, and that whole kind of Hong Kong inspired, all the cables, the neon there.
I haven't
and
fact checked it, but I saw that somebody had translated the basic writing, and apparently one of the things says Gungan snacks.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Yeah.
which of course was the question of, are they Gungan snacks or Gungan
Or are they snacks made of Gungans?
It's supposed to be the ribs of the creatures they ride.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Which they have on the menu at Disneyland, I think. It's like pork at Disneyland, but
the Kadu ribs.
yes, that's it. The Kadu ribs, yeah. And the third planet was Mapuzo,
Right.
which is a mining.
Which was a Firefly planet. As it looks like. Basically Southern California.
Yeah.
Also another notable quick cameo from Zach Braff, who was the kind of mole rat alien driving the car. Okay, that was also really cool.
And Kamal
Nanjiani.
Yes, Mangiani playing.
Yeah, they left that. I know he faced off against an incredibly violent, third sister, but they didn't show him dying.
Mm-hmm. Well, see, and this is an interesting, important thing, right? Because we have Kumail Nanjiani, we have Indira Varna, who are all kind of representing people Obi-Wan is encountering who have not given up yet, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you can see that kind of chipping away at him. even Kumail, who is
These people
full
who are
on
left
scoundrel. I love the idea of the fake Jedi, con man.
Oh, he's going to be
Grift.
the Amy Sedaris of this series.
Yes,
I'm telling you.
100%. They better bring him back, all scarred up or whatever.
They also
There's no way he got
quickly
out of that
teased-
unscathed.
They also quickly teased Quinlan Voss, which I thought was very fascinating. You know who Quinlan Voss is, right, Lexi?
Yes, but it's been a hot second since I've seen any episode with, like I think it's been over a year. So
yeah, so I mean that's a question of will we possibly see Quinlan Voss in a later episode?
Yeah.
I bet you see Qui-Gon Jinn
That's got to happen, right? That's
as a
gotta
Force
be
ghost.
yeah, Force
his
Ghost
reconnection
Qui-Gon.
to the Force.
Yeah, they better put in that, they better fill in that puzzle piece, because this is it's too good of an opportunity not to on this arc to be like, oh, and this is how he learns how to.
Okay, so we've been dancing around it. Let's
The
talk
elephant
about
in
the
the room?
Vader of it all.
Yeah.
The Vader of it. Wait.
Okay.
Wait, oh,
He says he killed Anakin, but he's full of it because he's still the same petty little bitch. Come on, say that. He's still the same petty little Anakin who throws a tantrum and has to kind of showboat a little bit. Anyway.
But it's horrifying. I mean, like, I love the reveal of Reva kind of going, oh, you don't know. Anakin's
how does
still
she know
alive."
that Anakin is Vader, though? How does she know?
Because
We'll
I'm
find
pretty
The only
out.
other
sure she's
person,
the
the only other
Padawan.
person.
I'm pretty sure she's the youngling or the Padawan from the first scene.
Well, she is.
Agreed.
But how does
Yeah.
she? But she still shouldn't know that Anakin is Vader.
We don't know that.
Thrawn.
I mean, we
Thrawn,
don't know how, but she's in a position to know if anybody is what I'm trying to say.
But Thrawn only figured it out because of a maneuver, like a flying maneuver.
Well,
I
Thrawn
mean-
only figured it out because he was never trained in the same damn temple.
Yeah, I mean, it was already
And
implied
he's
that,
not force sensitive.
and it was
he's not
already
Force
implied that the
sensitive.
Grand Inquisitor knew who Vader was as well, too.
Then
From
this could
Rebels, too.
This could actually shed more light on how Vader formed the Inquisitors too. You
Mhm.
know, like we could go into that.
He formed them with a dark side tuning fork.
with a Batman jet. Yeah, actually, okay, that was another thing. I was that the stabbing of the Grand Inquisitor totally caught me off guard. And
Yeah,
of
I
course,
think
you
I
know,
said what?
and it was like I was shocked in the moment, and I was like, "Wait, they can't!" And then of course I'm like, "Oh wait, it's Star Wars, so I mean, yeah, he can get a droid stomach; it'll be fine." But
Like, did
Well,
you,
and
did you see
Cody
him
brought
have a
up that-
funeral like Padme? No, he's fine, probably, maybe.
Oh yeah, he's fine. But Cody brought up that he's supposedly a Jedi Temple Guard, and he is. He was present at the trial of Ahsoka.
Yeah.
She
Yeah.
was falsely
Yep.
accused.
Yep.
yeah,
yep, yep.
yeah. I mean, that's the thing. They established at some point. I can't remember when which, but that his
I think it was Rebels.
his being there to arrest Barriss heavily influenced his kind of fall as he became.
Oh no, that was in Clone Wars, but he was also in Rebels.
Yeah, he was in both.
Well, he was in Rebels as, but then by like season 3 or 4 they reveal that he was the leader of the Temple
Yeah.
Guards
Mhm.
prior to becoming the Grand Inquisitor, and that he was there both for Ahsoka's trial and was the one who carried Barriss Offee off, who we still don't know what happened to Barriss Offee yet, so she could still be out there. Fingers crossed.
So the speaking of just like Rebels characters, the inclusion of the Sabine actress and the fact that there's like a Hera and they've got Chopper out is making me be like, all right, you guys have got to be holding back, but there's got to be an Ezra.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, I think it's like it's very clear
think-
the Ahsoka series is the Rebels follow up. I mean, I mean, they've only been shooting for like 3 weeks, but that one of the actors that are in those screen caps is probably Zeb and going to be replaced with a CGI Zeb eventually. which is very exciting to see.
So speaking of Rebels characters, we had Quinlan, a reference to Quinlan Voss, right?
Sorry, one more time.
Speaking of Rebels characters, we had a reference to Quinlan Voss,
Yeah. So that's
who started out as a background character, who started out as like a background character in the prequels, and then was given like his own book with like a whole backstory, kind of like the elf in Lord of the, in like the Lord of the Rings, the Hobbit.
It was like Asajj Ventress and all.
He was Asajj's lover, actually.
Yeah.
Helped make her more ambiguous.
And they're saying, and we don't know this for sure, but like Ice Cube's son, O'Shea Jackson, is a cast member, but they haven't said who he's playing, but there's speculation that he's going to be playing Quinlan Voss.
Oh.
Yeah. So we'll see. Very interesting. All very interesting. What else have we missed? Did we miss anything else? I want to talk about Uncle Owen, man. He had a couple of scenes and he absolutely killed it.
Yeah.
He was kind of doing mannerisms from the original trilogy guy as well. Like he almost was like changing his voice a little bit, I thought.
Yeah, he's adopting that, but he also, I mean, he's adopted that kind of crotchety farmer, and now he's a meme.
We only have 2 minutes left. We did not get to what I consider the elephant in the room, which is the Moses Ingram stuff. Maybe we can get to that next time. But
sorry, which Moses Ingram stuff?
The like all the horrible things that people were posting.
I didn't even want to talk about people being shitty to her. I'm just really glad that like that they came out with an official statement. They like have Ewan McGregor himself being like, if you're giving her a hard time, I don't consider you a Star Wars fan.
Yeah.
Like I saw that and I was like, thank you.
No one hates Star Wars like Star Wars fans.
Like, Star Wars fans are the worst things about Star Wars.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think she's killing it. I think she's great. I mean, and there's still obviously an arc for this character.
Oh my God. When she was like, Obi-Wan, I was like, ooh, I got chills down my spine.
Although
like,
I will say that like she said that and then immediately I wanted to finish the sentence, come out and play, yay.
That's true.
Yeah, I think maybe they've given her some dialogue that's a little broad strokes. So I'm really hoping that they allow her a little more nuance as they reveal her backstory. And I hope they do that.
I mean, the thing is, we're in a 6-hour movie, right? So we're about
almost halfway through.
Yeah, 40% into a 6-hour movie. I think she is doing everything she needs to be doing. She is a force to be reckoned with. She's scary. She now has likely captured Leia, and the more time she spends with Leia, the more she's going to tune in on her force sensitivity.
Well, and how long until she puts 2 and 2 together about Luke, right?
And the fact that that's Vader's kid. Yeah, she's smart. Basically, she's.
I also love getting to watch like the beginnings of the politics amongst the Inquisitors too. Just shout out to Sun Kang, who is growling his way through all the Fifth Brothers stuff, which is I'm loving that kind of interplay and that jealousy between them.
He does remind me a bit of what's the Mortal Kombat character?
The
costume
like, rated. What?
I don't know. I just said thank you because you guys remembered the name and I didn't. I think Moses Ingram is. I think that a lot of people are overlooking the fact that part of the reason that they don't like her is because you're not supposed to, and she's doing such a good job. Like she's, yeah. I'm like, you really are pissing me off. Let's go. You're meant to. Good.
But okay, we should go back. We should go back to Vader, and Vader just ruthlessly killing innocent bystanders.
It brings me to like something that one of my favorite directing professors said, Tom Whitaker, where he's like, oh yeah, like the higher up you lift an audience, the more effective it is when you pull the rug out from under their feet. So like everybody who's seen like, you know, sweet Anakin with Padme and like making jokes with Obi-Wan, and like they do intercut that for anybody who's not watched the prequels in a while.
Yeah.
Every time he has these memories, and I noticed that they make a big point of Obi-Wan having these positive memories of Anakin interspersed with like Vader. And so I was like, oh yeah, there they are. They're lifting you up high so they can pull the rug out from under you extra hard.
Well, and straight up too, the first time we see him pull out a lightsaber is in the middle of a panic attack, right? Which is
and it blinds him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also using some of those you know, horror film tricks where, you know, Vader appears out of the darkness, and good stuff.
He's not entirely rusty though, because he did that shot without even aiming. That was just above Leia's head, and he nailed that stormtrooper. So he's got like, if he listens to his instincts, right, then he's okay.
Well, I would also take that as more of like he's been practicing more with the blaster for 10 years. That's what he's practiced with now.
Well, also,
I'm sure being force sensitive doesn't hurt, but I don't know how much he's using it right now because he's probably been trying to close himself off from it to stay hidden.
Well, I don't think that was also using the force so much as instinct, right?
But okay, but also remember though, we also see him in a hand-to-hand fight where he's getting hit. He is just, I mean, it is a very messy fight.
He throws a punch and he's like, oh.
Well, no. That's because he cut his hand.
He punches a Zabrak, so he gets it.
Yeah.
He
but that's what I mean. He's not practiced at he's not aiming very well when he punches. Like, not that he ever punched a lot as a Jedi to begin with, but
no, it's a great fight scene. It's a great fight scene. It tells a story. There's a character thread to it. You can see how he's rusty, how he's making poor choices, how he's shocked that his body is not doing what he wants it to do.
Yeah, look, I'm just saying it reminds me, like it would remind me a bit of my dad if he had to get in a fight, because he practices at the shooting range because that doesn't bother him or his knees or his shoulder. But like if you asked him to throw a punch, even though he like had a football scholarship to UW and is still a 6-foot dude, like I'm pretty sure he'd be like, ow, I didn't throw that punch quite right. I haven't practiced, you know? But I can aim right. Like I've been practicing that, you know. I can see, I liked the way that they sculpted that into like what he's got. Like he's not even trying to use the force while he's using the lightsaber, you know.
He's like avoiding it almost.
Yeah, in the past it was, use what's around you, force push, all that kind of stuff. None of that. It's
but they can detect force sensitive people.
And of course, I was talking about when he was dueling Vader, right? He's not using any of that, and I think it's like shows to like force of habit how long he's not been doing it, because he could pull out all the stops. Like they found him. Doesn't matter if he's using the force now, but he's so out of practice with doing it. You know, you could see how much energy it takes him just to stop Leia. It was almost like he had to reconnect at the same time as he was trying to hold her up.
All right. Well, we're at 7:35, guys.
Right on. Okay, so last thoughts. So we're about to go into episode 4 this week. Just to reiterate the status quo. So of course we have a burned Obi-Wan, who is rescued by the hauler droid and Indira Varma's character. Leia is potentially in the clutches of Reva, and of course Reva is an outsider to the rest of the Inquisitors. We don't know if the Grand Inquisitor is alive or you know, having flashback to us somewhere. What are you guys predicting for episode 4?
I'm half joking but half not, but like a Obi-Wan Rocky montage where he like trains up again. I don't know. They could or they could not. But I wouldn't be surprised if there was some. I mean, they got to show some kind of recovery, and maybe like they might. I don't know. I wonder if they would tease a close call of like Vader almost getting Leia almost getting presented to Vader, and then that narrowly not happening. I don't know if they'll do that, but I could see that being a spicy choice that would also further the plot.
Yeah, I mean, I'm wondering because I kind of feel like they've definitely set up for Reva to kind of go rogue on her own, right? So we have a Reva versus Leia battle of the minds as you know, fifth brother sucks up to Darth Vader.
Yeah, honestly, Reva's so angry. I think she's toast because Leia's so damn smart.
Well, and hopefully it will mean. I mean, it'll. I mean, that's actually a cool idea to have Leia be the one to kind of psychoanalyze and get to the bottom of what is her trauma that is led her down the dark
Who
path,
hurt
right?
you?
Who hurt you?
Hurt you? Who hurt you, girl? Like,
here's Lola. Point to Lola where you were hurt.
Maybe Leia will float over her, Mary Poppins style.
There you
She
go.
really wants to float.
Okay, and we can probably expect another planet, right? I'm hoping we go to the planet that they were talking about where they have sent all the refugee Jedi. And hopefully
on the
Quinlan.
path?
Yes,
Yeah,
on the path.
Yeah.
Or the way.
I like that that underground railroad style kind of.
Yeah.
Did you know that Obi-Wan was born on the planet Stew-John, named after Jon Stewart from The Daily Show?
I have read that before.
That is canon. You're welcome.
That's, I mean, I love that there's a planet called Stew John. It's like, we barely tried. That's like unobtainium. Great. All right.
It's the whole system, by the way. It's not just a planet. There's the Stew John system.
One thing that we haven't really talked about, this will just be a thing we'll talk about next week, but each of these planets on the path or the underground railroad or the way or the trail, has all these different names. They all seem to be mining planets. And so transporting them via cargo containers and things like that, I think that's part of it. I think we'll learn more about that later, but I think we're going to continue to see the writing get better, the stories get better, and I think by the end of episode 6, this is just my prediction, I think we're just going to be like blown away. That's my hope. Help us, Obi-Wan! You're our only hope.
Right on. All right. Well, that is our show this week. Join us next week when we'll talk about episode 4, and hopefully we'll get Jason back and hear what his convention report was when he was at Celebration, what he got to see, things that I did not get to see. So let's see here. Skipping all those things. Okay, so come back, visit us next week. Also, we want to see all of your Star Wars creations. Do you cosplay, make fan films, build droids, build models, sell stuff on Etsy? Show us how Star Wars has inspired you, and we just might feature you here on the show. Also, a really quick little thing. So our friends at Nerdtastic, Patricio, Justin, and Earl have also created a movie called Lumpia with a Vengeance, and they are having a special Las Vegas screening on June 18th. The Geekish Network is proud to be presenting a presenting sponsor, and they are offering the Geekish Network viewers 25% off. So there is a link we'll put in the chat, I believe, and you can get your discount there. But yeah, if you happen to be in Vegas for June 18th and want to see a great, fun Philam created film with a lot of friends, go check that out. It's up on Eventbrite.
Now I'm hungry. How dare you?
There's that. And thank you for joining us tonight. So we're here on the Geekish Network starting every Monday night at 6:30. We'll also kind of transition right into Geek Beast, which is coming up very shortly. Please check out the Geekish Network on YouTube and Facebook and subscribe to the channel, and check out all the other shows throughout the week that are great and cover a lot of different things. Thanks on the flight deck to Rodney, and we are the Pod Squadron. Please check out all of our content on podsquadron.com. Like and subscribe. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. For podcast subscriptions, you can subscribe to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or your favorite podcast app. I am the Chinese Pirate at Chinese Pirate _ on all platforms.
I'm Tracy, the hot nerd girl. Y'all know I am.
All right, you guys can find me on Instagram, Facebook, The Feral Geek, or Feral Geek Aesthetic, and
Eh.
oh yeah, we have.
Aww.
He's been sitting with me
Hi.
the whole time.
Excellent, little lizard. And of course, check out Jason's stuff over at Beyond Forever Studios. All of his films and such. All wings to return to base, course laid in and prepared to make the jump to light speed on my mark. And remember, the truths we cling to depend on your own point of view. Only the Sith deal in absolutes. Good night, everyone.
I have to pee.